Hello students, welcome back again to this video series on database management system. So in the first video we have learned what is actually a database and then what is the difference between the traditional file based system and database system, and we have also seen what are the advantages of database system over file based system. So today we will see what are the main characteristics and benefits of a database. Okay, so let's start. So actually what we have learned that managing information means taking care of it so that it works for us and is useful for the tasks we perform. By using a DBMS, the information we collect and add to its database is no longer subject to accidental disorganization. So it becomes more accessible and integrated with the rest of our work. So managing information using a database allows us to become strategic users of the data we have. So what are the main characteristics? The first characteristics is self-describing nature of a database system. Self-describing nature. So this is the fundamental characteristics of a database approach. This means that the database system contains not only the database itself but also a complete definition or description of the database structure and its constraints. So this definition is stored in the DBMS catalog, which contains information such as the structure of each file, the type and the storage format of each data item, and various constraints on the data. The information stored in the catalog is called metadata, which defines and describes the data and relationship between the tables in the database. Okay, clear? And you can see the next characteristics is insulation between programs and data. So what is the insulation between program and data? Actually, in traditional file processing, the structure of data files is embedded in the application programs. So any changes to the structure of a file may require changing all programs that access that file. But by contrast, DBMS access programs don't require such changes in many cases. The structure of data files is stored in the DBMS catalog separately from the access programs. So we call this property program data independence. Clear? So I think this point is clear. For example, I can give you an example. Say a file access program may be written in such a way that it can access only student records of the structure. If we want to add, say, another piece of data to each student record, say the date of birth, such a program will no longer work and must be changed. But by contrast, in a DBMS, we only need to change the description of student record. Okay, so this is the main characteristics of a database. Clear? Then the next point is support of multiple views of data. So actually a database typically has many users. You will get later on. A database typically has many users. So each of whom may require a different perspective or view of the database. A view may be a subset of the database, or it may contain virtual data that is derived from the database, but it is not explicitly stored. Some users may not need to be aware of whether the data they refer to is stored or derived. So each view might contain only the data of interest to a user or group of users. Clear? Then next point is sharing of data and multi-user system. So a multi-user DBMS, as its name implies, must allow multiple users to access the database at the same time. This is essential if data for multiple applications is to be integrated and maintained in a single database. The DBMS must include concurrency control software to ensure that several users trying to update the same data do so in a controlled manner, so that the result of the updates is correct. Is it clear? I will give you an example. For example, when several reservation agents try to assign a seat on an, say, airline flight, the DBMS should ensure that each seat can be accessed by only one agent at a time for assignment to a passenger. These types of applications are generally called online transaction processing, or simply OLTP applications. The fundamental role of multi-user DBMS software is to ensure that concurrent transactions operate correctly and efficiently. Clear? I think this point is clear to you. Then next point is control of data redundancy. So the database basically controls data redundancy. Redundancy means duplicate data. That means one data may appear more than one times. That kind of cases can be controlled using database. Next point is data sharing. So data sharing is a very important property or characteristics of a database system. The integration of all data for an organization within a database system has many advantages. First, it allows for data sharing among employees and others who have access to that system. Second, it gives users the ability to generate more information, a given amount of data that would be possible without the integration. So these are the main characteristics and advantages of a database system. Okay, so that's all for today. In the next video we'll discuss different database users. Thank you very much.